Hey everybody, Neil Thompson from Teach the Geek here. I work with technical professionals so they can present more effectively, especially in front of non-technical audiences. And you can learn more about that at teachthegeek.com. Again, that's teachthegeek.com. And as always, remember to like and subscribe to this YouTube channel, as every bit helps. Well, it's no surprise to anyone if you're at least paying attention to what's going on in the world. A lot of people are losing their jobs, specifically people at work at tech companies. So what can they do to find their next gig? Well, obviously they could go online and apply for jobs. Guess who else is doing that? Everybody else who lost a job. So it's going to be real difficult to stand out. What can you do instead, or at least in conjunction? Well, you can use LinkedIn to not just apply for jobs, but also connect with people who may have jobs. So how do you do that? When you go on LinkedIn, you can go search your connections, and then you can search your connections. And that can be really helpful to find people who have the job title that likely your hiring manager would have, who work at companies that you find interesting. You could even make a list of the companies that you would want to work for, and you can do searches in LinkedIn based on the company name and also based on the title of your prospective hiring manager. And then names come up. You reach out and you can reach out to those people. If you know people in common, I'd suggest reaching out to those people and asking whether the person you want to connect to would be open to your outreach. And then you could have a conversation about that. But I think that's a really useful technique to get in front of people who may not even have a job listed at their company. They may work at a smaller company and they don't have anything listed right now. But if you get in their ear now, that you get introduced to them now, well, now you're top of mind for when they actually do have a opening. And I highly suggest that you don't just come right out when you connect with them and say, do you have any openings available? They'll just think you're just using me to get into a company to get a job. It's useful. Well, it's useful to be useful. You have to give to get. So when you connect with these people, try to be a resource to them. Read their profiles very carefully to see what they care about and send them content, podcast episodes, useful articles, white papers, whatever, any type of content you could find that you think that they would find interesting and useful to them. So now you're not just some person reaching out to them looking for a job. You're an actual resource. You're somebody that's useful to them. And when you're useful to people, they tend to remember you because you'll stand out from the people who just contact them looking for a job. And God knows I'm sure there's a lot of that going on these days. So that's really what I want to say about finding another job or finding your next job once you've lost one. Firstly, what you want to do is get on LinkedIn and search through your connections and then your connections. So that would be your second connections. For the second connections, obviously you can't reach out to them right away because you're not connected to them yet. So then you reach out to your first connections and you ask for introductions to those people, or at least you ask them whether you ask your connections whether that the person you want to connect to would be open to your outreach, and they could give you an answer, yes or no, or maybe so. And then you can even when you reach out to that person, say, well, I spoke to our shared connection, and that the person thought that you would be open to my outreach. So you do that. Well, then once you connect, you don't just hit them with, do you have any jobs available at your company? Be a resource to them. And when you're a resource, people tend to remember you. Because as I said, especially now when people are really desperate to find another job, they're getting really scared. Maybe they've been out of work for a few months. They start to just spray and pray. Do you have a job? Do you have a job? Do you have a job? And that doesn't work. You really need to be a bit more strategic in your outreach. So hopefully that's been helpful. Again, my name is Neil Thompson. I am the founder of Teach the Geek. I work with technical professionals so they can present more effectively, especially in front of non-technical audiences. And you can learn more about that at teachthegeek.com. Again, that's teachthegeek.com. And as always, remember to like and subscribe to this YouTube channel, as every bit helps. Thanks. Have a great day.